My name is Yazib and I'm a fourth year medical student, and this video is going to be about my experience with rheumatoid arthritis. Firstly, English isn't my first language. I'm not good at it, so if there are any mistakes, please excuse them. I'll start with the diagnosis. It was back in January 2023, so it's already been 1 year. Everything was good for me. I was on top of my class, third year medical student, teaching students in academy as a part-time job. So everything was good for me, and one night I had this excruciating pain in my knees, swollen joints the next day. So I went to the doctor and she said it's not a big deal, you might be having any sort of infection, most likely streptococcus infection. So she put me on NSAIDs, which is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and some antibiotics. I took them for 1 month. They worked for me. They worked for me in the start for like 3 to 4 weeks, and then I started to have that pain again. So I went to her again, and she checked my she done general blood test, biochemical test. There was one test for the streptococcus, a bacterial test. Everything was normal. In the general blood test, they usually check for the inflammation, because rheumatoid arthritis is an inflammatory disease. ESR, which is when it's increased, it's a sign of inflammation in the body. It was normal. In the biochemical test, they check increased CRP. In my case, it wasn't. It was normal. Streptococcus tests were normal. Everything was normal. She was like, okay, increase the dose and also take supplements like vitamin D3 and all that. I done that. It didn't work for me. And then Ramadan came along. I was having exams and things were getting tough for me. So I went to her again and again. It was like going to university for exam and then leaving for hospital right after. So in all that, she sent me to the rheumatologist. I went to her. She prescribed me the tests like rheumatoid factor test. There was CCP test, which is cyclic citrullinated peptide test. Guess what? They were normal too. So she was like, okay, your blood work is normal, and if you're having rheumatoid arthritis, most likely it is seronegative. So she done ultrasound and x-rays, and this is where it was concerning for me, because I was having extrasynovial fluid in my knee joints. So at that time, she diagnosed me with seronegative rheumatoid arthritis, which means that all of your blood work is normal, but you are having inflammation in your joints. And when I got this news, the world turns. It's like a topsy-turvy situation for me when the world turns upside down for you. And I was living far away from my family because I was a foreign medical student, and I didn't tell my family because I knew it wasn't a good idea sharing this news with them and making them worry about me. So I tried to keep this information with me for like 1 month, and it was painful for me because in that time you need your own people, on what I mean, the people who supports you. I wasn't having my family around, and it was, I don't know how to explain. And here it comes, why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because at that time I was looking for the videos in which the people with chronic inflammatory diseases explaining their experience post 1 year, post 10 year. Because when you newly get diagnosed with any sort of chronic inflammatory disease, you go on internet, you read articles and you watch videos for the hope. But the articles I was reading, they were not helping me much. I was just getting I was filled with negativity. I remember I read one article which stated that maybe I wouldn't be able to walk within the 1 year, and I was like, wow, how come I wouldn't be able to walk? in within the matter of months. So I went to YouTube, I searched, I watched like hundreds of videos, people explaining how it is like to be living with rheumatoid arthritis, or again any sort of chronic inflammatory disease, because they all works in the same way. They just affect the different areas of your body, but they eventually lead to death. That's what I was hearing, I was reading, so I was scared. And now when it's been 1 year and I'm in remission, I want to share my experience. Like, it's been 8 months, I'm not having symptoms, I'm in remission. And again, it's not same for everyone. When it comes to the autoimmune diseases, it could vary from person to person. For example, I know someone in my family who have the same disease, seronegative rheumatoid arthritis, and uh, they are living a hard life. They cannot walk for 5 minutes, and it's just tougher for them. But for me, it wasn't like in the start. Yes, it was difficult to even walk, but with time, it just got better. And this is what I'm gonna share, how I help myself getting into remission and not having symptoms anymore. So it was Ramadan when I was having the most, I would say, when my pain was on peak. I remember it was the last Ramadan and I was fasting. I went to my class, I passed out. It was microbiology class. I literally passed out. And the teacher there told me, go back to hostel and take the medication. I went back. I tried my best to not break the fast, but there was a time when I couldn't bear it. So I just broke it and took the Panadol and got the relief. So this was the most difficult time of me with rheumatoid arthritis. And then I went to my rheumatologist again. She told me, okay, we'll put you on methotrexate, which is one of those medications which suppress your immune system. So autoimmune disease is your immune system start to attack your own body parts, and when you suppress it, it has lower effect on those body parts it is affecting. I took this medication for 1 month. It's like you have to take this, you don't have to take it daily. It's one time per week. I was on it along the folic acid. We have to take folic acid because it helps the formation of new red blood cells, because when you're taking the methotrexate, it doesn't just kill the white blood cells but also affects the red blood cells. So that's why. And that was the time when I realized I have to work on my diet. What I took a break from sugar for like 2 to 3 weeks. I didn't have any sugar. It was, of course, it was bad. I was having mood swings, and it was, I don't know, difficult time. So I also started to eat more dry fruits. I added things in my diet which were anti-inflammatory, like berries, dry fruits, especially the nuts, and more vegetables. And I realized I was getting better and better. And I think within 2 to 3 weeks, I started to not take methotrexate. I was like, okay, it's gonna be experimental, but let's do it. I don't exactly remember how long it was when I realized that, okay, I can go just with the diet. I don't need to take methotrexate. So since then I am not on medication. I am just controlling my pain with the diet. So again, it's working for me.